There was an article about me in the newspaper, and Mr. Rice saw it, and he wrote me a 4-page letter, handwritten, and he went on to say how he dreamed of one day living in a barn house. My phone rang, and I got a call from Habitat for Humanity, and I went up there and looked at the barn that they had available, and I said, yeah, this could work. I called the Rices and said, do you think you might be ready to do a barn house? And they took a look at it and said, yep. So we took the barn apart piece by piece and put it in storage for a couple of years while they went out and found a piece of land, sold their old house, and we started working with the design, architect, engineer, and pulled it all together. It's important to save as much of the barn as we can, whether it's barn siding, flooring, the timber frame, and integrate old barn doors, locks, hardware, hand-hewn elements, and it's great to see the finished product incorporate so much of that.
When you look at this house from the outside, it doesn't look like a barn at all. One of our signatures by design is to continue to make the project unfold as you enter. When you come in the front door, you're really just blown away. But as you keep on walking through the house, you start to realize the different layers that come on, the fireplaces, the kitchens, the dining rooms, and all the details that make it what it is. The flooring, the doors, the hardware. It's a great way to make something old new again. One of the really fun things we do is lighting, and I just love to integrate lighting in every project that we do. So we have up lighting, down lighting, lighting on top of beams, and it all comes together at nighttime to make an incredible stage. We love to integrate old and new, but leave it rustic. So these rails here are just nothing but half-inch stock welded up just to make a clean handrail. We take these types of beams and leave the tenon sticking up and just kind of enjoy it the way it is. This is an old barn door that the client found and said, how can we integrate this in the project? And this loft bedroom didn't have a lot of light, so we put a window in it with this door. Here's the old date, 1886. You can see some initials here, RSA, and it's just great to see this type of detail. One of the trickiest things for us to do is to convince the building inspector that we can make these old buildings new again. Something like this beam coming across at head height is really fun to try and convince them that it's okay and it'll work. We'd love to take old things and make it new again.
This is a house that we built from scratch. We bought the piece of land and we built a spec house, basically. We wanted a New England look, but in Bucks County. So we brought the shingles to the table, a custom door with old antique hardware on it. We knew we wanted to make a timber frame house, but we didn't want it to look like a timber frame barn from the outside. So we put an A roof up over, a gable up over the front entryway, and that's part of the upstairs loft area inside. We have 10 acres here, and we brought a winding driveway in to create an illusion as you pull up the driveway. After the approach of the driveway, we really wanted to have more illusion continue. So even the front door is a punch-in, we call it. It's a recessed front door creating its own little porch area.
But as you open the door, the thing starts to unfold right at you. And as you walk into the entry, the room opens up and you can see out the backyard. And it's just a really exciting way to let the house unfold for the viewer for the first time. We had a timber frame crafted up in New England and brought down on a truck. And then we erected it with our crew and had stress skin panels installed on the outside for all the exterior walls for good quality insulation. We've involved a lot of new techniques here, a radiant floor, some very high-end lighting, up lighting, down lighting. We wanted the house and the kitchen and the living room to all be kind of one and be an open floor plan. So the dining room's right off the side there and the kitchen seating at the island to be a part of what's going on in cooking. The exhaust hood is a custom stainless steel hood that we had made out in Lancaster for us. Sometimes these homes can have too much wood, and we didn't want that to happen, so we used the tiles and bluestones and flagstones in the entryway over here. We tried to integrate a lot of the old styles and methods with new products. For the homeowners, for day-to-day use, we created an entryway off the side, which is, I guess, a mudroom off of a breezeway area. So there's a radiant floor in here, and then there's the standard wainscoting, some chair rails, and then that connects to a whole outer breezeway to the garage. Right off the master bedroom is a great porch area that just lets the day start and end in a great way. Right outside there are a couple water elements, not only the pool, there's a koi pond and another goldfish pond that add a great sound to the whole area. This is a custom cherry vanity that we had made with a marble top on it. And the tub over here is an actual bubble jet tub. It's not a jacuzzi with water, it actually sends bubbles up to aerate the water. These collar ties are actually rafters from an old barn. I can see the old Roman numerals on them still. So we sanded them down and oiled them up and then put rope lighting on top of them for an uplight effect. This timber frame has open trusses, and the trusses are really something we want to celebrate, so we play with lighting in a really great way. We have uplighting, downlighting, and then task lighting at the source. But it's really important for us to highlight the beams and the craftsmanship that the old world timber framers brought to their projects. Looking down the room is really fun for me to see with the gardens outside and the stonework and the interplay between the beams, the stone, and the gardens and all the lighting. So much of the products that make a house like this unique are the pieces of it that you don't really get to respect that much. The flooring is from a fellow who has an old 24-inch wide planer. We get old box locks from Lancaster and refurbish them and put them on the old antique doors and make everything all new again. So it's really kind of a great way to bring old elements into a new home.
This project is really special because it was built for my parents. We lived up the street for 35 years. My parents wanted to scale down and have a new place with new furnace and well and a new roof, so they didn't have to make any repairs. So we called a neighbor and asked to subdivide some land, and off we went. My client wanted to have their barn house look like it was a barn. They didn't want their barn house to look like a house. So we played that up. It's in a field, and you drive up the long driveway and into a little valley, and as you approach it, there's no question, it is a barn. And when you walk in the front door, you're prepared for what you're about to see. The space opens up, and the timber frame is quite expansive. The stonework in the fireplace was recycled from the original barn foundation, and we reinstalled the date stone in the fireplace, and we're very happy to have as many elements from the original property that we have. Having all the volume of the big, large living and dining room is quite daunting. They wanted to have a smaller area that was more cozy. So we built them a library or a den with a low ceiling and a wooden ceiling, a lot of woodwork and shelving. And it's from that room that you exit and go into my father's studio, which is a hidden door behind the bookshelf. The kitchen is a wonderful space. It involves recycled barnwood for cabinetry. It's not a particularly large kitchen, but they wanted it to be full of light, have an island, and have a secondary sink in the islands. It's an open floor plan. They wanted their master bedroom on the first floor with guest rooms up in a loft area. We have a couple bump outs, we call them, for a studio, my father's studio, and guest bedroom and a kitchen. My parents are very pro-open space, and there are a lot of developers around the area who are just buying the farmland and making it into subdivisions. So we didn't want to be responsible for adding another footprint onto the area, so we converted a barn that was going to be demolished because of a development. All the land is still farmed by the same farmer, and it's just, it's like the building was always there.